This is Billy from Permapastures Farm. I'm at the Self-Reliance Festival. You know who else is out here? Guess what? I am not alone. But what you gonna do? I got a pocket constitution and my homeboys do too. So I'm out here putting in an EMP shield at a festival for John Willis at SOE. You've heard me talk a lot about him. Well, I'm out here with the EMP people as well, right here. Bam. So I am a journeyman electrician, have been for a long time, IBEW trained, but I'm doing this on my own and I don't care who cares. So this is how easy this thing is to install, y'all. John has this old panel. We're basically going to install the device down here below it, like so. And we're going to show you how easy this is, because the two hots that are coming off of here, which is really self-explanatory. We got a black and a red. These are basically going to land under this 2-pole 20 breaker up here, okay? And the ground and the neutral is self-explanatory also. This is so easy a caveman can do it, but you really should. Look, if you're getting into a panel, I've got to tell you that you really do need to have somebody like me come out and do it for you. Unless you're now that's my disclaimer, so you got to know that. So there's a lot going on out here, and if you told me that I'd be out here putting in an EMP shield when I could be out there manning my table, I wouldn't have believed you. But this is how easy this thing is to install. So check this out. We'll let that dry a little bit. It has this little adhesive on the back of it. I'm just going to pull that off. We call these in the electric world, as an electrician, we call these sticky backs. We're going to stick this on here. Now, what I would recommend, if you have any self-tapping screws, we're going to hold that on there for a second. Whenever you use sticky backs, clean the surface it's going to be on and then push it. When you hold it on there for at least 30 seconds, all right? So we got it on there. In addition to that, I will take some self-tapping screws. You don't need to see that. And I'm going to go ahead and secure this thing to the wall. But as you can see, these sticky backs, they didn't use any cheap stuff. They used really, really good stuff. So as I install this, I'm going to put in the neutral and the ground. We'll put them in first. Basically, I'm going to find the best way to route this and make it look like a professional did it. Got our tie wraps, and now I'm going to terminate my neutral and my ground onto that same bar because they're bonded anyway out at the other panel. You know what I like about this is they didn't use cheap wire. This is THHN wire. This is number 10. When I've installed these TVSSs, or transient voltage surge suppressors, in other places, everywhere from tire plants to car plants to data centers, they're usually using number 12 wire. They at least cared enough to use number 10 wire. So how cool is that? And at a time where copper ain't cheap.
So it's only going to trip when the appropriate amount of amps is pulled from it. It's designed to trip those breakers and the main breaker during the E3 portion of the EMP, because we're going to put the building into island mode so that it's not connected to the grid during the third phase. During the first two phases, that's not going to trip.
All right, so we got the neutral and the ground hopping and popping. Now, this is compulsory at this point now. These breakers are on. That's not what we want.
That's a neutral.
I'm sorry?
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, these breakers, okay, so we got the ground and the neutral good to go. They're in there. Not as dressed up as ordinarily I'd want to, but you're getting the point here. So we got these two breakers. They're already on. Do not terminate wires when the breakers are on. So just for GP, I'm going to do them a favor. Every breaker that is not being used, I'm going to turn off now as an electrician. No matter what, when you turn a breaker, you turn your head on or off, okay? Just good practice. So we got these other two. The black and the red, they're gonna land. I'm gonna route this underneath. We're gonna be really careful. And we're gonna get this up here. Now, the way I like to do a panel, black, red, black, red, black, red. If it were a 3-phase panel, it'd be black, red, blue, so on and so forth. So there's all black in here, so it's really not all that necessary. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my wires. I'm going to start at the bottom because I'm being fed from the bottom. So I'm going to start here. Let's see here. Okay, now that it's terminated, make sure you do the tug test to make sure this thing's staying put. You may have an old panel like this. It is not uncommon to have some of these things where you think it's terminated and it's not. But that's the cool thing about what they're doing, because it's not number 12 wire, it's number 10 wire. It's going to take up more space. So that is yet another beauty of using a higher gauge wire. Number one, it tells me these people cared about the product they're doing. And it's also telling me, you know what, despite the cost, they're putting together a quality product. Because if they care enough to put number 12 in there, like I said, all the TVSSs that I put in the past have always historically been number 12 wire. I learned this little trick in the swamps of Mogadishu. Just kidding. I learned it at the IBEW, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Before we shut this panel, I'm going to test this thing, because we don't want to close it down before we test this thing out. So remember, good practice. I'm going to turn my head, turn it on. So what does it tell me? You see those LEDs? That tells me this thing is hopping and popping. And what's going to happen, it's going to shunt this out. We have a power, let's say a lightning bolt. That's your most probable cause of any problems, okay? It's going to be lightning. And you live in a place where there's a lot of lightning, but it also protects you against a, obviously an EMP. But your number one source of that issue is going to be lightning. And what I love about this product, unlike any other TVSS out there that I've ever installed, is there is a guarantee. This is why it is, to this day, even though every other person is asking me to endorse a product, especially when it comes to something electrical in nature, this is why this is the only product I've endorsed, and here's why.
Thanks, Billy. So this is a 10-year warranty with $25,000 of insurance, and we guarantee lightning protection. If the device does not do its job, we will pay to cover the cost of the damage. To date, we have not paid a single payout for lightning damage. It is an incredibly robust device, and I just want to make sure everybody's tracking that. Thanks, Billy.
You got it. Okay, so we know everything's hopping and popping. Now I can put this thing together. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that it's working. Turn it off. LED goes off. Okay, so now all we have to do at this point, this is really up to you. We want this thing situated out here. You have in a panel, you have what's called a dead front. That's the part that sticks in here. Then you have your panel cover, which is the part that sticks on the outside. This old panel has a dead front and the outer cover all mixed into one, and that's cool. So all we got to do is get this situated on the outside. Like I said, get professional help if you need it.
So for a special for this next 30 days, any EMP shields you buy, the EMP shield guys will come to your facility and install and do your install direct. I just want, and Billy Bond, I like to pick the top level people in their industry and have them do things outside of their industry.
Okay.
You want the top one?
Yep, we're ready to go hopping and popping, dude. All right, so here we are, y'all. We got one of them done. We're about to do this other panel, but we made it painfully obvious that pretty much this is easy enough to where a permaculture pimp daddy could do it. So along with my new friend over here, John from SOE, look, he did the important part, y'all. He put the panel cover back on this bad boy. So we're hopping and popping. Today's his wife's birthday, and this is the gift that apparently EMP Shield gave to her, and it is the gift of security.
It keeps on giving.
I won't be there for that part. So now what we're going to do in this other panel, just so you know, folks, we had a 2-pole breaker in the other one. That's exactly what you want. Now in this case here, I'm not going to say this out loud, but we have another 2-pole breaker that we're going to use in here. That is ideally what you want for an EMP shield, okay? So what's going to happen, you have a problem that comes in, it shunts out there before it ever hits anything downstream. It's better than, like I said, it's the only product to this day I have ever endorsed. And there's a reason for that. If you want to know more about it, check out the discount code down below. You get 50 bucks off. Remember, check out SOE. All them ballin' Pimp Daddy shirts I've been wearing, guess where they came from? You know. So here we are. We got that one done. We're going to get this other one done. So y'all look at the signs of the times, and you might consider getting something like this. They got them for your cars, they got them for your RVs, they got them for your boat, they got them for everything you could possibly imagine. DC, AC, they got it all. So until next time, this is Billy from Perma Pastures Farm. I'm actually out here at SOE at the Self-Reliance Festival. We'll see you next time.